Okay, we're going to do the isolastics here. I've been reading and reading and reading the different types, and like I'm going with the stock original ones. And nice thing about it, I've got the mount out so I can set the isolastics in a vise and clamp this up and adjust it right here. But here's the idea of the isolastics. You have to understand something first before I can do it. Okay. So you can see the gap at either end here between the inner isolastic rubbers and the outer. And if I just bolted it into the frame like this, the whole inner rubbers would be sliding back and forth. It looks like, 3/16 of an inch. So then you got these two, they look like a Bakelite washer, supposed to be Teflon. They sit on here. So that tightens up the gap even more with those on there. So what you want to do is find out that total gap . You want to bolt it all together, clamp this up tight, torque it to 25 pounds, foot-pounds, and then we're going to check the clearances in here. And whatever the total clearance is, we're going to take 10 thou off of that. Let's say it's 80 thou. We're going to take 10 thou off of it. So it's 70 thou, and divide it by, put 35 thou and shims in here and 35 thou and shims on this side. But what has to happen for that, all of the rubbers and isolastics on the inside, they have to shift all the way to this way so I can get the true clearance all at one end. And it's a little bit difficult moving all of those isolastics. I greased them all up in there, they're loose, but I'd have to really bang it with a hammer to get it all to shift one way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a 20 thou shim on the one end, because I just did this a minute ago, and I was getting like 60 thou on one side and 15 or 20 thou on this side. So I'm going to put it together that way and reassemble it, and just double check it. What it came with 4 20 thou shims, and I think that's going to be pretty close to what it's going to go back to. These plates, they tend to wear out a little bit. There was a groove in the one over there I had to sand down. This one's got a little bit of one on the outer edge. So these do wear down. It would be nice to put brand new ones in there, but I don't have them right now. Okay, I'm going to torque this all together, and I'll show you how we'll measure the clearance. Okay, I got this torqued together. I put 40 thou and shims on this side, and I put no shims on this side, and I'm checking for the clearance. I've got 40 thou in my feeler gauges on this side, and that's tight. That's tight right there. So what I should have is 35 here and 35 here, and that would give me 10 thou clearance. That's pretty tight there. I'm going to put a 30 thou shims in here for now, and then measure it and see if that's right. On these old spacers here, you can see there's like a little bit of a groove right in here, so you want to make sure you sand this down nice and flat, because that's going to hold the shims up. And so I'm going to clean that up. I really should put all brand new ones in, but I'm going to make these work. Okay, let me sand this down flat. I've already got this one done, and then I'll put her back together. Now the shimming goes between the cup and the isolastic right inside here. I'm just dry fitting it all right now, and then I'll use some silicone grease on here so that this isolastic can pivot on here nice and smoothly. That's what you want. So it came with 40 thou shims, 220 on either side. I'm going to assemble it back together like that. It looks like it's going to be really close. I got it dry fitted and was getting a 3 thou feeler gauge on either side, and I think that'll even snug up a little more. So I think it's going to be close to the 10 thou clearance. I got a little corrosion on all the washers and everything too, so I'm trying to clean that all up to get that clearance back up to 10 thou. So I'm going to try to clean this up a little bit better. Okay. Just cleaned these up as best I could on the inside. A little bit of steel wall. Put a little dab of silicone grease in there. And just a real thin coat on the shims. Don't want too much grease in there to hold it out. Just a real thin coat on there. Clean my hands up. With the paint on the on here in the clear coat, it makes for a real snug fit for the caps. Looks like it's on there. And then these Teflon, or I don't know what this is, Bakelite, it's supposed to be Teflon. Put lots of grease on this. You want this to float, pivot. Put some on the collar and here where it's going to slide. I got to get all these mounts, everything all ready and shim before I can put the engine in and tranny in. I want to make sure I get everything all set up first. Just a little bit of grease on there. I put a couple extra washers on there to make up for the frame. Thickness is here. Otherwise it'll bottom out on the threads and I won't get it tight enough. I'm running out of bench space here, piss me off. Let me get my torque wrench and I'll torque that. Okay. There's 3 thou in there. I've got a 3 thou feeler gauge on either side, and I know I can get a 4 in there, maybe a 4 on either side. Here's a 4. Some guys will shim that right down to 3. I've been reading everything about these things, how much people shim. Some people are saying 10 thou on either side. Some guys are like it at 3 thou, which is you get more vibration, but then you can start getting cracks in your frame, if you have no tolerances there at all. And the manual and everybody on the internet says 10 thou. Try to get 5 thou on either side, or it doesn't. If you could push it. If I could push this isolastic all the way down to one end, you want 10 thou. But I'm just shimming it on either side because it's hard to force that down there with those rubbers kind of stuck inside a little bit. So right now I got that at 7 thou. I'm sure I can get that at about 8 or 9 altogether. See if I can find another 4 thou shim. This one here. Yeah, here's a 4 thou here. There we go. So that's good. There, I got 8 thou on there. I got a 4 thou on either side. And that's greased up. So that's good. That's really good. Good enough for me. And I got new boots for them to go on. Had 2. Here's the other one here. So I think that's ready to go. I'm just going to, the next thing I got to do is do the rear isolastics. And the only thing is there, I'm missing one thrust washer. Don't know where it was. I got a feeling it didn't come with it. So I'm either going to have one made out of Teflon. A friend of mine's machine shop there, we've got a bunch of Teflon. I can probably cut one out. And then I can shim up the back one. But there's a lot of science in this here. Let me check. I've been reading a lot about the alignment in these bikes with the isolastics and the frame. You know, there's so much geometry to it all, and to get the alignment of the rear wheel with the front wheel, and then with the transmission and motor and the isolastics to get that aligned with everything. And you start with the steering head. You know, you get this perfectly vertical up and down. Well, then this isolastic holes in the frame should be at a perfect 90-degree angle to this. If this frame's coming straight down this way, then you got to have your lower isolastics front and back perfectly 90-degree to it. And then once you get this isolastics in here, your transmission and motor are bolted together, so that affects your swing arm. And then your swing arm affects your rear wheel and the placement of your rear wheel, like to shift it left or right. So, and everybody says the front wheel never perfectly lines with the rear wheel, but we'll see when I get to that point there. You can adjust it with shims in the rear axle a little bit there to get it lined up a little bit better. And then another good tip on there for the swing arm is, like you see in all the new bikes today, they all have slash marks, you know, in here so you adjust it evenly on both sides, while there's nothing on the Nortons. So they say set a compass in here where the swing arm bushings are, and align it to here, make a punch mark, do the same on that side, then move it 1/8 of an inch, make another punch mark, and make some alignment marks on here, so you get the wheel at least running true. Now the other thing is too is you want this swing arm bushing in this shaft here to be perfectly parallel to this end here. You don't want one of these swing arm forks to be up or down or a little bit out of parallel too, so that's something else to check. And you know, maybe I should have done that earlier. Hopefully it's not bent. I'll try to check it as best I can when I get it on there. So, but I am going to put these marks in here. I'm going to put a few marks in here for the adjustment. Oh, there's all kinds of tips on the internet for these Nortons, all kinds of stuff. But we got the front isolastics done today, and it's pretty good. That's it for today. I gotta make a spacer for the back one here, or that Bakelite plate or Teflon plate.